Hi, everybody. It is Sunday, July 25th, and this is Special Agent Valentine making a small, short report. Um, I got a download last night, and now I understand better why I call them downloads. Yeah, they told me something that I suspected a while ago, but yeah, I want to confirm it. I've had a few people ask me, um, you know, can I just speak openly or talk to these my guides, and yeah, I can sort of, for instance, ask them. It's like, okay, listen, can you do this, or can you tell me, fill me in? I mean, I'm just as curious as anybody else. But what I've been doing, kind of in the past, is just I don't push it. I just like kind of just let it go. It's like if they want to talk to me, they will, and that's why it's not consistent. It's not as if they talk to me every day. Only when things are kind of going down, I think that's kind of what happens. And sure enough, I found out kind of last night why, and I'm not sure why it took me so long to figure this out, or for them to tell me this. But what I has suspected, because they've been kind of telling me for years. Well, I know I've told you this for years. Is somehow they kept on telling me I'm protected, and it's like, okay, I don't know who you are. I always looked at it like a guardian angel or something. And then I was also told, um, um, not only protected, but for instance, I'm also. This is gonna sound weird. I know. I think I've told you before, but like I'm gathering intel. Like they're watching my life, and they're recording everything, and that's why I'm thinking. I was thinking, well, there must be some sort of record of everybody's lives anyway. So I just live my life anyway, because I mean it's pretty hard to understand how they can record it. Well, now I actually know why. Because if you followed my story at all, um, I talk about the time I had a benevolent abduction when I was about, I think I was about 20 years old. This is like in the really early 90s. This is one where, you know, I couldn't move. I was like, and they took me straight up out of my bed, through the ceiling of the roof, and then when they finished with me, they put me back down, and I was trying to break free from this. It's like a paralyzing. I was like paralyzed, and you know, I couldn't say anything, or it was just really strange phenomena. And then I was probably about a foot or so off my bed when they put me back down, and I was struggling, trying to break free. And then they just let this. I would probably call it now a tractor beam go. So I fell. I fell at least 12 to 16 inches onto my bed. It's my boom. Then I was free of whatever that was, and and I remember waking up. I was like, "Did that just happen? Is that is that for real? Like, am I having just a bad nightmare?" It was just weird. It's really strange. Because I mean, first of all, how do you make sense of going through the ceiling and the roof of your building? And although I sensed it, I smelled it. I smelled the attic. Like I smelled, it's like sawdust or wood and old moldy smell, whatever. I actually, yeah, I sensed it completely. So anyway, I didn't talk about that to anybody. Just nobody does. Whenever you get it, some sort of abduction or something, you're not going to tell anybody about it. Maybe your closest friend, sometime later on in life. But yeah, it was just so bizarre. I just thought, well, okay, I had a crazy dream, and I kind of forgot about it. But anyway, the point of this story is that's when now they've told me, that's when they gave me an implant. Now I'm not sure where it is, because it wasn't on my wrist or my hand or something. Now I think what they've told me is it's deep inside my brain, and it's a monitoring system, um, as well as a communication system, as well as like a, I guess it's connected to my physical body, and so it'll give off a signal, if I'm in trouble, all this stuff. And then when they talk to me, like I said, it's just kind of like, well, it's in my own voice, you know. It's not strange, and also that's why I. Okay, this kind of, like I said, this explains a lot of things to me. What they told me last night. Um, but for instance, when I speak in different languages, well, now I know, well, what they call it nowadays is called light language. And but back when I was a teenager, I would speak. I would, well, because back in those days I was uh, going to church and everything, and I was told that that was the Holy Spirit speaking through me. It was called speaking in tongues, and I spoke up to eight languages. Eight languages that I, it's funny because I don't know what I'm saying. These are very strange languages. Some of them sound earthly, and some of them sound. I know I've described this in my earlier videos and everything, but now I understand what that is. That's part of my communication as well. Um, anyway, this is a story that's unfolding because one thing for sure is they've told me over the last 2 years, not only giving me updates and kind of giving me a heads up what's going on, but kind of filling me in, as in waking me up to like why I'm down here. That's why I call myself Special Agent Valentine, is because yeah, I was put down here for this very reason, for this human freedom operation. We're breaking free from this. Well, anyway, last night they gave me a really interesting download. I mean, it kind of confirms the stuff that they've been talked to me about before as well. So this isn't like, it isn't just completely out of nowhere. But they really described a lot of a lot of things. I just, like I said, it's like almost like automatic writing. I just write down whatever they tell me, and I try to make sense of it as much as I can. I'm not sure if I can do it today because it's kind of a long letter. Maybe I'll do it. I'll read what they told me tomorrow or something. But the biggest revelation, like I said, and it's always like, the funny thing is, it's always like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know, and I'm sort of kidding around. And believe me, they actually joke with me too. They've told me some funny things. Kind of. So obviously I know who my guides are. Like, obviously I'm in touch with them. But they, you know, just the fact that that's in a sense explains also. I know I described this before, but I get well, not only downloads. It's just like information. It's almost like them going, "Hello, okay, I've got something to tell you," and they'll wake me up, or yeah, they do. They pretty much wake me up like 4 in the morning, and it's like a bunch of information. Now I don't know why 4 in the morning. Maybe they're on a coffee break. I do get the impression a lot, and they kind of have sensed this to me, is they're very busy, they're really, really active, and I also understand there's times where I participate, but like in the etheric world. Now I know all this stuff is going to sound woo-woo to a lot of people, especially if you watch this video for the first time, for me not explaining it. But there's a really strange phenomena that started happening to me a few years ago, and that was where my vision is kind of blurred because I see, it's kind of like a rainbow ring that starts out small and is constantly moving. It's like electrical thing that's going on and off, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it envelops my whole body, and my vision gets better, my body functions or whatever. So I called it back then, because I kind of realized once this phenomena was finished, I called it an upgrade, and I still call it an upgrade because that's the only way I can really kind of explain it. And but now I know why. Whenever I turn my head, it was exactly the same thing. So this ring, no matter where I looked, was coming outwards like this. And now I understand it is because they've got an implant in, well, I guess someplace in my head. I'm still learning more about this, and I know it sounds fantastical and everything, but I'm just saying that yeah, now I understand why it's coming from there. So like, there was all these pieces are slowly coming together and making more sense to me. Yeah, and it just this is a this is a really interesting time to be on Earth, because we're breaking free, and there's millions of people like me that came here to help. And a lot of us are just waking up to what's going on. So anyway, I'm just going to stop it there, because I can go on and on and on. But I think the next time I'll describe kind of the download they gave me. I'll give you kind of heads up. What it is something that we've all been learning. But it's we've been giving a false narrative as far as the history of what's been going on here, as well as it's just hidden histories, hidden technologies, all this stuff. And it's like, when you start piecing it together, you ask a lot of questions. I know I talked about it a little bit on my last video, but there's some stuff that just doesn't make sense, and it makes me wonder why there's only certain people that have inquisitive minds, and then the rest of the people out there are just okay with following the narrative. They're just like, yeah, I just want to go to work, I just want to watch TV, I want to laugh a little bit, I want to go out for good food, I want to be entertained, just want to have a good night's sleep, and do it all over and over again. Whereas me, I remember, well, granted, it's because I keep using that as an excuse, but in reality, the fact is I came here on a mission. But my excuse, I always would tell myself, well, it's because I'm an artist, so I look at the world differently. And it's probably kind of true anyway. But to me, I have always questioned everything, and I've also tried to analyze things, like try to figure out why things work the way they do, and how come. And like, it's always like asking those W5 questions. But anyway, so as this rolls out, again, I kind of give you a little bit of an update last time as far as this operation is concerned, but it looks like it's really going down. Everybody keeps saying that over and over and over again, and we keep getting disappointed. But they keep telling, like I said, they tell me stuff, whether I'm listening or not, I guess, in a sense. Like, I could be driving down the road and they're like, okay, something good's happening, or it's almost like, okay, there's a shift in the time-space continuum, or I don't know how you want to put it exactly, but I get feelings and stuff like that, and it's just like, sort of like, wow, and I'll just get little snippets of information, in the middle of the daytime. So to me, it's quite the puzzle, and I always try to figure it out. Anyway, so ultimately, what I'm figuring out is my little, my own little operation here that I'm adding to the collective of this big giant prison break. So it's working, and I guess we're at a really good spot right now. Well, they can only keep drawing it. I'm talking about the bad guys here. They can only draw this out as far as they can. They've ran out of places to hide. They've run out of tricks. They're done. But this particular download, it kind of explains why they hung out to the very end, and why they do that. It's basically, this is real history. This is what really has been happening to us. So I'm going to be talking about this. They told me before I shouldn't say too much, probably because I'm being targeted, which I know I am, by the way. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, all the light workers down here that are trying to tell the truth, basically, and wake people up, we're all being watched and targeted, and some people don't make it. This is not an easy operation. When we came in here, it's only, they're only telling me this stuff now, but the decision to come in here it's not as if it's deadly, like, for instance, your essence is destroyed. No, your spirit still goes back to source. But it's like a giant the best way for me to explain it sometimes, it's like a big computer game, and we're all in here, and it can only be fixed from inside the game, inside the matrix. So, you get assistance from outside, but this operation has to be fixed in this physical reality. So you have to come in here as a spirit, like I was too, just like everybody else. You get implanted, and, well, not implanted, but I'm just saying, we get put into this physical matrix, and part of the problem is you get your memory completely erased, and you know that going in, you go, okay, well, I'll just look for signs or something when I'm in there, and I said, just as long as you take care of me, I'll go in, and that's kind of what I did. Just you go in, you're oblivious, you think you're just a normal creature on this planet, and you're here to eat food and whatever. Just follow the crowd. But like I said, deep down inside me, because I came here for a reason, I always had this thought. It's like, okay, well, there's something going on down here. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. So ever since I was a child, just constantly trying to go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Hey, why do they do that? Like, whatever. Like, always the question kid. Most of the time I kept it to myself. But anyway, so here we are. Like I said, it's dangerous on a lot of people when you get, like I said, when they find out what our controllers I'm talking about, when they find out what you're up to and you're trying to break free from their clutches, they'll take you out. A lot of people, especially if you spoke too much truth, and that's what's happened so many times. You see people that are just trying to expose criminals down here and what's really going on, and they get really targeted and picked on, and they get taken out. So I guess myself, I remembered this, and that's why I've been kind of careful for the most part. I was like, okay, I better keep that to myself. So I'm kind of hush-hush. Like, I know a lot of stuff. You guys, I know a lot of stuff. But I hadn't realized I cannot talk about it. Not yet. So I'm just kind of leaking it out. For me, it isn't that as dangerous, because I know I'm being super protected, and the worst that can happen is they're going to take down my channel, which means I can't talk to you guys. That still doesn't stop me from knowing what I know. But what they don't want is for people that know stuff, the truth of what's going on, to tell people. So, and to go to great lengths. Then they take you out, So, anyway, I can go on about that one too. But, so that's my update for Sunday 25th. And, yeah, things are happening. Things are happening big time. But they won't be in the mainstream consciousness probably for another week or so. We'll see. We'll see how this thing plays out. Because that's another thing, is it's an active scene. This is an ongoing breakout. Okay, that's it. Stay positive, because believe me, that works. Okay.